Oh, you're so grumpy. Go on, give us a smile. It's like, just leave me alone, I'm so comfortable. Thought it would be nice to kind of bring you on a little walk. I've just said good morning to Kelly, and she's off with the kids to school, although we are still in lockdown. It's the 23rd of February, and this is Binstead. This is the telephone box that gets wrapped up as a Christmas present that hasn't quite been unwrapped this year. I just thought it would be nice to kind of work on my camera work to show what we're leaving behind. We love it here. You come over here, this is the wreck. This is the communal space that we enjoy. And it's lovely. We have lived on or around this for the last 10 years since we came back from overseas. And we first place in Pinewood and Oakhanger, we were looking at this hill, this ridge, and then we lived in Hartley Mordett, which was on top of that ridge, kind of directly opposite where we were living. And then we moved along the ridge, and this is kind of the last of the ridge before it dips down into the sort of sandy, scrubby heathland around Borden, Oakhanger, Farnham, Alice Holt, that kind of area. So it's been a big part of our lives, and this view has been a big part of our lives. We know every little road, every car boot, charity shop, dump. We went to college in Alton, which is just behind those trees. That's where we met 20 years ago. So it's been, this is home. We've got a massive connection to this place. And that's, I think, the most scary part of all of this. And this is part of the reason. So this is the Cedars. And it's great, they're doing the pub. And they're building 3 houses behind, which is fine. But this has really been the push, because the paddock that we had behind our house that was lovely before has just been destroyed. It was wild, it had been left wild for quite some time, and it was full of nature. It was only a little paddock, but it was like, whoa. Note to self, don't put the camera in the same hand as you're holding the dog lead. It was wild. It had been left to its own devices for about 5 or 6 years. It had hedgehogs, bats, birds, bees, wildflowers, and the whole thing's just been dug up and destroyed, and it's really sad. Now, planning was achieved about 3 years ago for those houses, to refurbish the pub. So we knew about it when we bought the house. We knew they were going to be building houses here, so that's fine. And we didn't actually object to the houses refurbing the pub, which is great for the village. We're really pleased about that. In fact, it's a shame we're going to leave just as the pub is opening up. What we object to is the way, not the what, the way that developers behave. They've removed all the vegetation, they've taken all the trees down, they've cut everything, but they've kill everything. Just kill everything. It's in the way. Just kill it. Look at this. This field is not part of the planning application. This field is it's not even the application site. So only works that get done in this field can be done under permitted development, which means that it is temporary only for storage or whatever, and then it has to be put back in the condition in which it began. In this case, it's going to be physically impossible. The developers told me this is what they're doing. They're levelling the ground. And what they're planning on doing is with the topsoil that's over here, that they've been stockpiling, they're going to use a bit in the gardens, and then they're going to spread the topsoil over the top of all this shit. And a lot of it is subsoil, but a lot of it is also tarmac, brick, concrete. In fact, a lot of the really nasty stuff has been buried at the very bottom, of course, because they didn't want anybody to know about it. That's illegal, what's happening here. This is illegal disposal of waste material. What the developers should be doing is removing this material and having it recycled and having it properly dealt with. But what we're going to end up with is ground that's degraded. As a result, it's going to have all of this stuff which should be deep underground. It's going to be very much at surface level. It's permanently affected the value of this open countryside in perpetuity. It's against the law. It's been reported to the South Downs National Park. They don't care. It's been reported to the EA. They've acknowledged that it's illegal. They don't care. It's been reported to planning enforcement. They don't care. So what kind of precedent are we setting to the developer who builds houses for a living and drives around in his very fancy Aston Martin, doesn't really give a shit about the environment? What kind of message are we sending to these people? That basically, where all of our regulatory bodies basically say, yeah, it's fine, do what you want. Ruin as much nature as you want. Kill as many animals as you want. We don't really care. And we're not going to do anything about it. And that's what happens in a national park. Imagine what's going to happen elsewhere in less sensitive areas. And this is what really breaks my heart. You know, this was not a particularly beautiful paddock. It was not a particularly amazing place, but it was full of life. You know, we just don't value giving nature somewhere to live. We don't care enough about it to protect it. We just see it as there for our use and there for our amenity. But this is the reality. You know, it's happening right here on our backyard, and nobody knows and nobody cares, and it's only because this is our garden. There's our garden, and there's what's happened next door. You know, that we're the only people in the village who really know about this. And we're certainly the only people who care. You know what people care about? They care about getting the pub. They don't care what the developer's doing here. They don't care about the hedgehogs who have been fed in this road for the last 20 years that have disappeared since this was done. They don't care about the dormice. They don't care about the bats. There was an outbuilding over there that needed to have an endoscopic survey. It didn't get done. Sure enough, the building got demolished. We've told the planners about this. They're going to do nothing about it. Don't care. You know, that's a protected species right there. So now what are we to do when we're dealing with planners who put these policies in place to so-called protect our biodiversity, and they prey on soft targets like homeowners, people like us, who are going to obey by the rules, but then they let the bad boys, you know, the people who are really doing the damage, the people who do this for a living, professionally, developers, they let them get away with it. And it's got to stop. It's not acceptable. And it's really pushed us out of our home. We feel there's a real desperate need for us to buy some land and basically protect it from people like this who would just buy it and build on it and don't really care about the consequences. So that's why we're putting our principal asset in our lives, our home, we're putting that at risk for the sake of buying something to protect it and keep it safe. There you go. Monday morning thought for the day.